Okay, so let's jump right into this. We're talking about the Aravalli Range today. And trust me, this is way more than just a line on a map. This is about a critical environmental battle for India's future. And we're going to break down exactly why.
To really get what's at stake here, you have to start with this number, 1.5 billion years. That's how old the Aravalli Range is. It's one of the oldest mountain systems on the entire planet. I mean, think about that. It was ancient before the Himalayas even existed. It's not just old, it's a geological relic, and that makes it absolutely completely irreplaceable. And for all that time, for millennia, this range has acted as a guardian for the subcontinent. But here's the twist. The story has completely flipped. The protector now needs protecting. And that really gets to the heart of what we're exploring today.
So, what does this ancient shield actually do? Why is it so important? Let's break down its incredible ecological role for northern India. The number one threat the Aravallis are fighting is this: desertification. That slow, creeping crisis where good, fertile land turns into barren desert. And in India, the biggest engine of that process is the massive Thar Desert, just waiting to expand.
And this is where it gets really fascinating, because all these points are connected. The Aravallis are a literal wall, physically stopping the Thar Desert from marching eastward. Their forests act like a giant sponge, soaking up monsoon rains and slowly feeding them into the ground, recharging the water that millions of people drink. It's a vital green lung for huge cities like Delhi, filtering out dust and pollution. And it even helps stabilize rainfall for the whole region. You take away the Aravallis, and the entire ecological balance of North India just falls apart.
But, and this is the tough part, this indispensable guardian is now facing an existential threat. And it's not a natural one. It's driven by us, by economic pressures, and frankly, weakened rules.
Yeah, let's be really clear here. This isn't just natural erosion. The Aravallis are being systematically taken apart. You have illegal mining that literally carves away entire hills for construction material. You've got cities sprawling outwards, with new buildings eating into the foothills. And all of this becomes so much easier when the very environmental laws designed to stop it are watered down or just plain ignored.
And this right here, this slide explains the heart of the legal problem. The destruction has been supercharged by a devastatingly simple trick: reclassification. See, when a part of the Aravallis is legally called forest land, it's protected. But if it gets reclassified as non-forest land, then boom, it's suddenly open for business. Mining, real estate, the whole shebang. This one legal loophole has basically painted a giant bullseye on this ancient ecosystem. So with the shield weakening and the rules being bent, another powerful institution had to step in. A new defender arrived on the scene: India's Supreme Court.
I mean, you have to ask, right? When government policies and powerful economic interests are all pushing for more exploitation, who actually has the power to say stop? Who can draw the line? Well, the Supreme Court's answer was loud and clear. In several major rulings, the court laid down this core principle. They basically said, hold on a second. The Aravallis are not just a pile of rocks and minerals to be sold off. Their real value is in the life they sustain.
And this wasn't just talk. Not at all. It was backed by real, concrete action. The court put a complete ban on mining in the protected forest areas. It ordered the states to go back and actually restore the land that had already been wrecked. And it pushed this idea called the precautionary principle, which basically means you have to prevent the damage before it happens. Because let's be real, once an ancient hill is gone, it's gone forever.
The fact that the court had to step in so forcefully just shows you how high the stakes are. So let's just take a minute and visualize what failure looks like. What happens if this shield is actually removed? First thing, that natural barrier is gone. The Thar Desert starts its relentless march eastward, swallowing up fertile farmland and turning it into dust. Next, that giant sponge is destroyed. Groundwater levels start to plummet, triggering massive water shortages for millions of people in a region that's already struggling for water. Then, the climate moderator vanishes. Cities like Delhi are hit with even more brutal, deadly heat waves and are left wide open to choking dust storms blowing in from the west. And finally, a totally unique ecosystem gets erased from the map. Leopards, hyenas, countless birds, and other species that call these hills home, they lose their habitat, leading to a catastrophic collapse of biodiversity. And this quote just nails it. This whole thing is not a simple debate between development on one side and the environment on the other. This is about survival. You simply cannot build a sustainable, prosperous future on a foundation of ecological collapse. It just doesn't work.
Okay, so that picture is pretty stark, I know. But the fight is not over. Not by a long shot. So what does the path forward look like? How do we actually save this ancient shield?
The solutions are pretty clear, but they require a really united front. First, you have to strictly enforce the existing laws, especially the Supreme Court's orders. No more loopholes. Second, we have to start healing the wounds with massive reforestation projects. Third, and this is huge, the entire range needs to be recognized as one single protected zone. And finally, none of this is possible without public pressure and smarter city planning that respects where the city ends and the hills begin. Because at the end of the day, this whole movement isn't just about saving a bunch of pretty hills. It's about safeguarding the water supply, the climate, and the environmental stability that an entire region of India absolutely depends on for its future. For 1.5 billion years, this range has stood as a silent guardian. The question now is whether we, in our very brief moment in time, will have the wisdom and the courage to protect it. Its future, and a big part of ours, really depends on that answer.